the announcements of Chrome and other browsers to eliminate cookies in 2 years prompted the initiative both inside the trades individually, and it became apparent that the collective industry would be better served in not just pushing back on these policies where we had no voice, but to curate and develop solutions that we then could take to the browsers, and as well as begin to dialogue with them in a constructive way. So background work had been done with the trades, ANA, IAB, 4As, NAI, and it was decided that a better approach would be to come together both with bringing the WFA in for global and organizing the right marketer, publisher, technology, and agency leaders to form a governing group that could drive an agenda. And part of that was to create a management team, which included myself and Dennis at Tech Lab, and Stu Angus, chairman of Venable, who's also leading our privacy initiatives for ANA. And we brought in Michael Donnelly, a former marketer, former senior vice president at MasterCard, to provide a core management team to drive the work. And the work that we're kicking off will be 4 participatory groups that will cover policy and legal affairs as it relates to privacy and solutioning, business use cases, which will be marketer and agency driven to really flesh out the use cases that are critical that the cookie has enabled. The technical standards group will be the IAB Tech Labs REARC initiative, which is already operational, and we'll create a 4th group to drive communication and education. So our first step is to curate, working groups, and then begin the process of fleshing out use cases and policy principles and standards that relate to those use cases. So the Apple policy that they announced that will change how the ID the consumers will now have to opt into app level tracking for the IDFA is a substantial impact on business use cases in measurement and in analytics. So we're also now intend to kind of take on that challenge, and that's now part of the remit beyond the cookie. And we hope to be able to dialogue with Apple about the marketer and the advertiser and the publisher's point of view, because it was unilaterally legislated, this change, and we need to deal with it.
So, Bill, what do you think the timing is in terms of, and you have a big group, a lot of different partners. There are pressing issues. What are the pressing issues you would like to address first, maybe? What do you think your timeline looks like?
There's two big pressing issues. One is to organize new solutioning to get standards built to replace the cookie, which has a clock of 2 years. The other timing issue is to do what we can to address the Apple announcement, which is right in front of us in September. And there'll be 2 different strategies and approaches. The cookie solutioning is participatory work to get to new standards that are acceptable by browsers, so that we can safely execute addressable advertising. The Apple initiative will be different, right? That's got to be different, and we're still framing up our approach, but we will be, dialoguing with Apple on it.
And there's a lot of issues around privacy, a lot of regulations coming into force, and conversations of others. Where do things stand in terms of privacy, in terms of regulations, in terms of the work that you guys need to do?
So privacy is central to solutioning, and our the leader of our privacy and policy and legal affairs working group is Stu Engus, who's the chairman of Venable, and he will populate a group that will navigate for us, the principles of privacy that will inform the solutions, that they inform the standards for the use cases. We've got the legislative initiatives that are already being implemented right now, such as Privacy for America, that's a process that is in parallel path with the work that we're doing right now, for sure. And and at the global level, it gets pretty complicated, right? Because there's GDPR and there's state laws, and we're pursuing a federal law is our objective in the United States. So we'll have the right counsel to address the use cases for the principles that will be, we think, very feasible and reasonable they have to be in a privacy context.
Great. And speaking to your members at the ANA, putting on your ANA hat for a minute, what are some of the pressing issues that they have? Obviously, everyone is occupied with COVID and navigating, but some bigger data issues, technology issues that are top of mind to ANA members. Can you share some of that?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, our agenda has been very public in terms of our Master's Circle CMO agenda as it relates to data tech and measurement. And measurement's really important. So measurement, it's drive a cross-media measurement solution that will probably break down the silos of basic foundational walls of measurement for reach and frequency across walled gardens and television. That will unlock huge value, both in terms of optimization of planning as well as management of excess frequency, which ultimately is going to give a better consumer and more relevant advertising experience. Attribution is a huge priority. The ability to have standards for, and we're pursuing cross-media measurement. Both we have been doing it globally, and we're driving it forward in the United States. Attribution standards need to be built, and we are in the process of supporting the MRC's work to build attribution standards, which will advance analytics and outcomes. Because right now it's the Wild West right now in terms of analytics. In the area of technology, we're helping marketers master their tech stacks. The CMO budget is approximately 30% of it is spent on marketing technology. And that is a huge challenge to help marketers who didn't grow up in tech to master tech, because that is how you do people-based marketing at scale. So we have some very strategic initiatives we're working on to help them master their tech stack. We also, the Partnership for Responsible Addressable Media is a purpose and initiative and mission is a huge priority for ANA marketers. It's so that they can reach consumers, build audiences, measure audiences, and do the right analytics on paybacks and ROI. And then there's other specific things in the area of transparency of data in the supply chain, in the ad tech supply chain. It's a huge focus area. There's been, a lot of work we've tried and continue will do to go at the waste that is in the digital programmatic supply chain, both through the Trust Consortium as well as some specific initiatives. And that's a lot. That's just some of the bigger things. And then we've got a lot of product that we deliver to the thousands and thousands of members in terms of training in these areas, webinars, one-day conferences, committees that all bring data, technology, and measurement to life to them, either through best practices, or having experts come in and share what's new and what's working.